So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're well today. You've been enjoying the wonderful speakers we've had so far. I think we lost a few people to the bathroom. Hopefully they'll come back. Otherwise, they're going to miss out on an amazing presentation from a very dear friend of mine. Gosh, it's quiet on this side of the room, isn't it? There's a few more people sort of been hiding over there. You have to be in the room for the entire duration to get the certificate, by the way. So everybody who's walked away and missed out on something doesn't get nothing. I feel really bad for them. So, mobile phones on silent, but I'll encourage you to take video of this gentleman, and you'll use the hashtag behind me because the world will want to see and share with you the experiences that you're going to have today. How many people here, by the way, run their own travel agency? Very good. How many people are involved in some manner of sales or persuasion with customers? Most important thing is to understand the mindset of who it is that you're working with, because then if you can work that out, you can sell to them and create that relationship that goes on for a long period of time. And that's exactly what my next guest speaker is going to be sharing with you. Now, this gentleman, you'll see him on YouTube with TED Talks. He was a host of the World SME Summit very recently as well. He's traveled all around the world, spoken in 51 countries to many different nationalities. And one of the things I like about him so much is down to earth, great fun to watch, and you want to make a note of everything that he says. Now, just before we start, has everyone got access to a sheet of paper? If not, if you crumbled it up or you start making a paper plane out of it, steal one for the person next door, because you want to have this for when he starts on stage. I know you make the most of it and learn a load, and that's why I want to introduce to you now, very dear friend of mine and a superstar. Please put your hands together for the amazing Rohit Bassi. And girls is not available, so I'm just...
Thank you. Did anyone notice this box over here? Anyone? Now or before? Okay, great. For those who have noticed it, now you can notice it because I'm pointing it out to you. This is my miracle box. You may call it a magic box as well. I prefer calling it a miracle box. Would you like to know what's in it? I can't hear you. Yes. I can't hear you. Yes. I can't hear you. Yes. Okay. If you are loud enough like that and have so much energy, I will let you know what's in the box as we go through the session. Now, 2nd of February 1975 was definitely not the day when Albert Einstein was born. No way. Amazing, unique individual, has given a lot to society, has given a lot to the world, but he was not born on the 2nd of February 1975. Although, on 2nd of February 1975, another unique individual was born, and he stands in front of you over here. Thank you. Just like I am unique, just like Albert Einstein is unique, everyone in this room is unique. There is no doubt about it. Now, when I started off my career, I was not in sales. I actually was in a sales jobs, and I literally left after about half a day or one day. And I worked in other places. And I recall one particular time, I got back home. This is back in the UK where I'm born and brought up. I got back home and I said to my father, Dad, I'm working very hard and I'm getting nowhere. Silence in the room. He looks at me and he says to me, even a donkey works hard. Now, do you want to remain a donkey and keep working hard? Which is fine, working hard is great, it's helpful, but you still remain a donkey. Or would you like to be a stallion? Wild, can be tamed, is always going for the win. What would you like? And if you want to be a stallion, you need to start acting smart. You need to start working smart. Smart and hard. You need the hard work, but you need to start working smart. So that played in my mind for a while, and it's something which still plays in my mind. Now, apart from that, what happened was something else happened with me, which happened later on. But this story starts not with my story, it starts with this particular individual's story where it all started, where I started progressing. And the story falls back to 15th August 1947. 15th August 1947, this is the day where India receives its Independence Day. It's independent from the British Raj. It's a time for rejoice. It's a time for happiness. It's a time for joy. India starts its tryst with destiny. That's what happens. But behind the scenes, there is bloodshed. There is families which are separated. There is a lot of death. So people are passing through a lot of pain because of this incident. And amongst them, there is a story of one particular child, at that time a baby, about 2 years old. 2 years old, with his family, he is put into a train so they could leave what is now called Pakistan and they could go into India. They get to India, but the father never boards that train. Till this day, no one knows what happened to the father. Now this 2-year-old boy is growing up in India. He's growing up in India. He goes to school, but keeps on running away from school, but still has to go to school. Goes to school, gets educated to a certain point, and he ends up in the Indian Air Force. He becomes an officer over there. He becomes an officer over there. Like anyone in a life, continues with his life, has a bit of challenges, and on this journey, he meets a beautiful lady. Love story starts. Their eyes meet, they connect, they end up getting married, and they go to Canada. That's where they decide they're going to settle. Now, while in Canada, being there for a couple of years, the beautiful wife says to the husband, I'm missing home. So guess what? They go back to India. And in India, they rebuild themselves again. This is where they have 3 beautiful children. Things go on very well for a number of years until some more adversity hits the whole family, and they decide they need to do something about that, and their journey takes them to another nation, which is England. So they end up in England. And in England is where I meet this child who was 2 years old, is now grown up, a wise man, an extremely wise man in running businesses, in running his life, in knowing about what sales is all about as well. Destiny makes him my father-in-law. I hear about all the stories, what's happened to him over the years, all what has happened. And I ask him, Dad, I have a question for you. And he says, son, please go ahead, tell me. I said, with all this which has happened to you from a childhood till now, you rebuild yourself, you rebuild yourself, you rebuild yourself. How do you do that? He looks at me and he says, if there's one thing I can teach you, which I could tell you, is remember this. If you can remember this and apply this to your life, you will see miracles happening in your life. He comes up to me and he says, Rohit, you need to have JIGRA. I was like, what? JIGRA? Now, for some of you, this word could be very new. For some of you, it could be something you've heard of before. If anything, this is one word I would love you to remember before you leave this room. And when you leave this room, you remember, I know this word JIGRA, so we're going to memorize it. Here we go. So I'm going to say JIGRA, and you're going to repeat after me. Are we ready? Okay. JIGRA. One more time. JIGRA. And one more time. JIGRA. Excellent. Now, some of you, or many of you, might be wondering, what is JIGRA? Well, in the English language, or in modern day language, it simply means to have executive presence. It means to be brave of heart. It means having resilience. It means having grit. And whoever is in the sales profession, if you are not having executive presence, it's very difficult to be a sales professional. So a sales professional needs to have this executive presence, needs to have that brave heart, needs to have that resilience, needs to have grit. Without it, especially when the times are down, it's very difficult to go out and sell. So this JIGRA is so crucial in the sales profession. Now, what happens when you are in a state of JIGRA? You start becoming inspirational, not for someone else, but for yourself firstly. You start taking 100% responsibility. We as humans have this great ability to blame other people, passing the buck. But when you're in a state of JIGRA into executive presence, you start taking 100% responsibility, and you start becoming transformational. Transformational, not change, but transforming. There's a difference between change and actually transformation. It's like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. Now, that's what starts happening when you get into a state of JIGRA. And that is what salespeople require in their day-to-day work. Now, there are many definitions of executive presence. One of the definitions talks about having substance, style, and appearance. Great definition. There's another definition where it says having gravitas, i.e., being able to get through those tough moments, able to make tough decisions. And then there is another definition, it's the missing link between success, between merit and success. All of them are great definitions. I totally agree with them. And if you go to Google, you will see these definitions come up. But that wasn't enough for me, because being from an Indian heritage, born and brought up in the UK, living in Dubai for almost now 14 years, I realized there has to be some kind of integration. The West needs to meet the East, or the whole globe needs to unite on what executive presence is all about. So that's why the word JIGRA came into my mind. Now, we look deeper into JIGRA, and this is what it literally means. The first thing about JIGRA is having self-leadership, having that self-leadership before you can lead someone else. You need to be able to lead yourself, and yes, you can lead someone else, but at all points, you need to be able to lead yourself. Salespeople, when things are down, need to get up, become the leader for yourself, and move on. The next thing is inner self-discovery. Inner self-discovery leading to developing your outer self. So it's an inside game, what's happening inside, not what's happening outside, but what's happening within yourself. Having gratitude in all situations, especially the tough ones. When things are tough, we forget that attitude of gratitude, and that's when it's required the most, having that attitude of gratitude. The R standing for respect and integrate both emotions and the logic, need to integrate it. We, unfortunately, through our schooling systems, through the working systems, we are told about logic, 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 logic. Absolutely fine. But look at yourself and look at your clients. They're a bag of emotions. Look at them. They are all bags of emotions, just like you are a bag full of emotions. And finally, it's about awakening the ACE, awareness, consciousness, energy. This was taught to me by my teacher, Dr. Segu Ramesh. You amplify your awareness. When you amplify your awareness, your consciousness rises. And when consciousness rises, energy is used more productively. And these are crucial things in tapping into your executive presence, into your JIGRA. In simple words, you need to have a leap of faith. Leap of faith. Look at yourself in your lives. There are certain situations, even in your sales life or in your personal life, where you had the leap of faith and you were able to succeed in whatever you wanted to succeed in. Now, in simple terms, you could say having JIGRA means bending reality. What do I mean by bending reality? I trust everyone in this room has a phone, a mobile device. Could you take it out, please? And just hold it high. Everyone, please. Could you take your mobile phone and just hold it high? Every single person. I would really appreciate it if you could just take your phone and just put it high. Okay, everyone's got a mobile phone. Now, you already know when I was born, so you can guess what my age is by now. And 20 years ago, that was considered impossible to happen. What you see in front of you is bending reality, this mobile phone. The chair you sit on, for a caveman, that was bending reality. We are always bending reality. And that's the moment when we are tapping into our JIGRA, into our executive presence. And that is so crucial in our sales life. When we're bending reality, literally what happens is you move from disruption to transformation. We live in the age of technology. People are obsessed with this digital disruption. Great, awesome. How about now transformation with this digital disruption? It's time we transform. Then it's about the high touch. There has been studies, in fact, there's been reports by World Economic Forum, which states that as technology gets more evolved, we have more AI, more machine learning, more robotics, more of that integrates into our day-to-day life, into our work, we will need the high touch, meaning the human touch. More of that is required. And in sales, that is a very crucial element to build relationship with your clients. And finally, if you have this too, you're able to carve your own path to success, your own unique formula, your own unique formula to success mastery. Now, how do we do this? In simple terms, we need to look at intelligence, communication, and emotional wisdom. Three things: intelligence, communication, and emotional wisdom. It means the harmonious integration of ICE. ICE is intelligence, communication, emotional wisdom. An iceberg has most of its power where? Under the water, not at the tip. So your power is within you. Your executive presence is here, not someone out there. So it has to begin with yourself. How do we do this? Well, I'm going to give you some things to look at on how you can uplift your executive presence and therefore become better at your sales. The first thing is looking at neuroscience. Has everyone got a blank piece of paper with them? A white sheet of paper, which was probably lying on the chair. If you haven't, there's some empty chairs, you can pick it up from there. And now I'm going to open up this miracle box, and there's a piece of paper there. And this is what we're going to do with this lovely piece of paper. Ready? Everyone got a piece of paper? Could you hold it in front of you, please? Hold it in front of you, both hands. Hold it in front of you. You'll need both of your hands. Ideally, both of your hands. Yes? So everyone, could you get that piece of paper? Hold it in front of you. Excellent. You can hold it wherever you hold it. Okay. Please close your eyes now. No cheating now. No looking at your neighbors or opening the little eye and seeing who's doing what. With your eyes closed, could you fold that piece of paper into half? Okay. Eyes are still closed. With your eyes closed, make sure your eyes are closed. With your eyes closed, tear the top right-hand side off the piece of paper. Eyes closed, no opening eyes. I'm seeing people are opening eyes and peeking, no peeking. Once you've done that, could you fold the piece of paper again into half? And tear the top left-hand side of that piece of paper. Make sure eyes are closed. I can see all of you, just about. Now fold the piece of paper again. Tear the bottom right-hand side of that piece of paper now. And here's the tough one. This is the toughest of all of it. Fold the piece of paper again and tear the bottom left-hand side of that piece of paper. No peeking, eyes closed. If you have to tear it with your teeth, please go ahead. I don't have scissors. Okay, now, could you open your eyes and open that piece of paper, please? Open your eyes and open that piece of paper and show your piece of paper to the people around you. There's a wonderful piece of paper which really doesn't exist over there at the back. Look at the piece of paper around you, all of the pieces of paper around you. Are they the same? They're all different. Some might be a little bit similar, but they're all different. In some cases, they're just two pieces of paper. Now, what happens? Just like this piece of paper, what you've done, you all are very unique. You all have unique personalities. We might explain our product, our service in a certain way, but everyone understands it differently. Just like when I gave the instructions to break the piece of paper. So this is looking at just the personality at the top level. What neuroscience does is goes deeper and sees where exactly you're coming from. We have many different personalities, but neuroscience allows you to go deeper and see, this is where I really come from and this is where I operate from. So it starts looking at it from a perspective, do I operate from a feeling perspective? Do I operate from a specific perspective? Do I operate from a logic perspective? Or do I operate from a spontaneous perspective? So a quick way to demonstrate this is, I'm going to go in here again into the miracle box. And I'm going to take an orange out. In fact, I'm going to take 3 oranges out. Who would like an orange? Anybody would like an orange? Okay, I'm going to throw the orange, so at your own risk, if you get hurt, it's not my fault. I take no liability whatsoever. Are you ready to catch? Okay, let's see. So you said over here, sir? Yes. I'm going to pass it to the lady at the back, so. Oh! Careful. Okay. Oh, it's orange. Okay, we got a last one over here. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. It's going to go over here. Oh! Okay. An orange. When you squeeze it, what happens? Juice? What kind of juice? Are you sure it's orange juice? Sure? So it's the nectar. The orange juice comes out. Pineapple juice doesn't come out. Yeah? Kiwi juice doesn't come out. Or apple juice doesn't come out. Orange juice comes out. So what neuroscience is really doing is looking at what's really inside you. Where do you come from? So personalities are great to actually connect with people and know. But if you really want to know what's happening with you, you need to know, are you an orange juice? Are you a pineapple juice? Are you a apple juice or a strawberry juice or whatever juice you like? So neuroscience is very crucial. You need to go deeper into it. That's neuroscience. Let's look at the next thing. Critical thinking. Now, critical thinking is something which I always find very difficult. Critical thinking involves having no bias. So looking at your emotions and not having bias with those emotions to make a decision. And that's very tough. So you have to look at the facts. An incident happened with me many years ago when I worked for someone. This was here in Dubai. And I recall there was a particular employee who had left the organization. And when they had left the organization, they left in a very foul mood. And they said, and the employee said many wrong things about the organization and its people. Now, 6 months had passed by. We as an organization were winning many sales deals. The challenge came was, with the sales deals which we were having, implementing the software, we needed someone who was experienced. We started searching in the market, can we get someone? And we could not find someone with that capability. We thought, okay, we'll go abroad, get an expat in, but it was coming out to be too expensive. Fortunately, this employee who had left 6 months ago calls up and says, Rohit, I want to join the company back again. And I'm sorry of what I did. And I said, you know what? I really can't say if you can join the company. I need to talk to the MD. I need to talk to the boss. So I went to the boss and I told him what the situation is. His straightaway reaction was, no, it's not going to happen. Not while he's alive. It's never going to happen. I said, okay, sleep over it. A week went by. I went back to him and I said, look, have you thought about it? He said, I told you, you got my answer. No, it's not going to happen. Another week went by and I went back to him and he said, okay, what do you want from me? I said to him, let's put the emotions aside and let's look at this person from a capability perspective. And he said, yes, from a capability perspective, I agree, he would be the right person. I said, absolutely right. And we've got a bigger issue as well. We can't find anyone in the market who meets that requirement. And we've got so many sales deals, we've signed them off, and they need to be implemented. So if we think about it critically, it will be good to have him on board. He said, yes, but there are going to be certain clauses. One wrong move and he's out. And we got him back in. So it was about being critical. Does it make sense to have that person on board? We could have been very emotional and not have him on board, but the need of that hour was we needed him. He was very professional. He was great with clients. It just a misunderstanding between him and the company, that's all it was. So your critical thinking is very crucial. Same when you're dealing with your clients. Miscommunication happens. You need to think about it, what you're doing. You can't just go, emotional. Which comes to the next thing is need to be creative and have innovation. So I'm going back to the miracle box here, and I'm going to take out, anybody want to have a guess what I'm going to take out? Wild guess.
For sure not orange.
An apple? No, not orange. Oranges are finished. I'm going to take out a brick. Okay. Now, this brick I could throw at someone. Anybody want the brick? Sure, you were excited about the orange. Okay. Here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Whoever you're sitting with, I'm going to give you about 1 or 2 minutes. 1 or 2 minutes. This is what I would like you to do. What could you do with the brick? Be creative about it. You've got about 1 to 2 minutes. Discuss it with the person you're sitting with. Go for it. Come up with as many things as you can come with what you could do with the brick. Apart from killing someone. Talk to the person next to you. Talk to the person behind you. Come and make sure you're talking to the people who are all sitting on their own as well. So someone from the AV team, could you help me out with the mic over here because I'll need you to run around a little bit for me. Thank you so much. Could you give our lovely, beautiful assistant an applause for helping us out over there? Just over there. Okay, so who wants to tell me what they came up with? Around the room. Okay, over here. Got this team over here. So quickly, give me things which you came up with.
We can write a small letter and put in our office like self-improvement letters and can put in my office to remember every time.
Okay, anything else?
Nothing.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, we've got over there, right at the back over there, in the t-shirt.
I will keep it with me. If something is there is the rain or something, so it can save my sheet. Plus, then I will keep it with you. That is a gift from Mr. Rohit. Yeah. And plus, this is something for opportunity. So you can have, it can help you in many ways.
I would happily give this to you, but I actually took this from my mother's garden. So she's not going to be very happy if she sees this has gone away. Yeah?
So the idea was clear.
Okay.
Yeah,
So one person at the back over there.
Yeah, I discovered with my colleague, we can use it to build to something. We can use it as a weight.
Okay.
We can use it to build bridges and make something out of it more.
Okay, excellent. We've got a lovely lady over here.
Thank you. I could use it as a chopping board.
Okay.
I could use it as a place to sit on the ground.
Yep.
I could use it as a paperweight. I could use it to rub it on the ground and create fire out of friction.
Okay.
I could use it on the desk of my workstation as an anchor for change.
Awesome. Very nice. Okay, and if we could give it to the person at the back over there.
We could use it as in for weightlifting.
Okay.
We could just use
You
it as a
look
dumb
fit
one.
enough for the weight room, yeah.
Or some other like weight exercise stuff.
Excellent. And one final over here, at the front over here.
You can use it like you could draw like a face on it, make it look more human.
Okay.
Put fake hair.
Okay.
Entertain the children with it.
Okay.
He also came up with the idea to like cut it into pieces and make structures with it, smaller ones.
Okay. So
yeah, that's it.
quite a different things. So why would I even talk to you about a brick and how does it relate to having executive presence in sales? Well, there is a fashion brand called Supreme. A a fashion brand, Supreme. And they came out with a brick, which said, a clay brick, similar to this, probably more orange than this. It said Supreme on it. On the market, when they sold it, it sold for $30. $30. A normal brick cost about $1, approximately $1. On eBay, somebody bought the same brick for $1,000. Okay, so that's Supreme. Let's go to India. In India, a person called Prajapatiji, he could have taken the clay and made another brick, but he made multiple products out of this, out of the clay. And one of the products he made out of clay was a refrigerator, which works without electricity. Now look at it. One person has used their creativity and innovation to build something can give value to the people around him in the terms of a refrigerator, which does not run on electricity, no electrical bills. The company he formed was called Mitti Cool, and he was an uneducated person. No education, no money, no funding. On the other hand, you have got Supreme, who looked at their market and created something which their market would value. Now think about what you do in sales. The product, the service which you are selling, is it for which market? Who will value it? Who is going to take that? Who are you going to sell your brick? Because every product, every service over there is just a brick out there. And you need to see who's going to value your brick. Is it someone from Supreme? Or is it someone who is like Prajapatiji, doing the brick to build a refrigerator? You need to decide as a salesperson, what are you going to do? On who your market is, what your value is, what the value is of your service. So you've got your creativity and innovation coming into play. The next thing comes is emotional intelligence. When things are great, our emotional intelligence seems to be on happiness, joy, love, great. But things when they're not good in sales, we tend to be in a state of frustration, rage, anger, because things are not working out as you wanted them to work out. And emotional intelligence teaches that being in this state of frustration, anger, rage is not productive. You have to shift, you have to transform to go towards that love, joy, and the happiness you have in doing your sales. Simple emotional intelligence. You can be at one scale where frustration, rage, anger will not get you the sales you want. While if you're in that state of happiness, joy, and love, you will start getting the sales you require. Simple emotional intelligence. The next thing is listening. Listening is very, very crucial. As a sales professional, you need to realize 2 ears, 1 mouth. We need to listen more than talk. So here's a simple exercise which we're going to do on listening. I would like everyone to get up, please. Excellent. Everyone all up. Shake your hands, legs. You can dance as well if you want. Great. You can use your right arm for this, and you're going to move it to the side like this. Let's not do it over here. Let's do it over here. Yeah? If you're uncomfortable with the right hand, you can use the left. I prefer using the right. You take the thumb and the index finger, also known in my dictionary as the pointing finger. Take that and join it together. Ready? I need you to listen to me. Are we ready for this? You're listening? 100% sure? 100% sure? Yes. 100% sure? Yes. 100% sure? Awesome. I heard someone, a big yes at the back. You take this, and I want you to put it on your chin, please, on your chin, please. Where is your chin, please? Where is your chin? Your chin is not over here, or is it over here? Where is it? Over here, over here, over here? Can we sit down, please? Most of you went, ta-da, or not. You didn't. Most of you actually went over here because you simply followed me. And what did I say again and again in the beginning? Listen, listen, listen. And this is when I'm instructing you, asking you, requesting you, please listen. Now, in a day-to-day conversation with your clients or your existing clients or a prospect, are you really listening? Are you truly, truly listening? Mother Nature gave us 2 ears and a mouth. We need to listen more than talk less. So that's listening. And finally, the 6th element is presentation, speaking, communication is so, so crucial in the way you represent yourself as a sales executive, as a sales professional. And this is so important to raise up your executive presence. We're going to do another exercise, and this is what we're going to do. We're all going to get up again, please. Shake your bodies. Yeah, excellent. So this is what we're going to do. This is what they call power posing, which was something researched by Amy Cuddy. And I'm going to show you some power poses. Power poses are things like the superhero pose or the superwoman pose. Yeah? Standing like this is a power pose. Standing like this is a power pose. Anyone into bodybuilding? This is a power pose. 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 Putting your hands in the pocket is not a power pose. Putting your hands like this is not a power pose. So I want you to select a power pose, any power pose you want, any power pose. Can be this, 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 this. Select a power pose. Selected? Okay, so I want you to repeat these words after me. I'm beautiful. I'm awesome. I'm simply the best. Excellent. Now we're going to do a non-power pose, which I'll give it to you to show you what's going on. Could you cross your arms, feet crossed like this, and look down, please? Are we ready? Repeat after me. I'm awesome. I'm beautiful. I'm simply the best. Okay, sit down. Which one felt better? Why did the first one feel better? You felt more confident. Your body was upright. You were breathing. You were letting your brain get oxygenated. The moment you do this and you start doing this, you're reducing the amount of oxygen which goes to this brain over here. Without this, the brain's not going to operate. So that is why they say stand up straight. Sit up straight. Even if you're on the phone, a customer can tell, a client can tell if you're not interested in them, and most of the times it's your body language, and your body language comes across through the words which you use. Now, in simple terms, when you look at it, executive presence or raising your executive presence or getting into a JIGRA state is not about going outside your comfort zone. There is a big misunderstanding about comfort zones. As soon as you go outside your comfort zone, you are in a war zone, you're in a panic zone. And believe me, that's when things don't work. That's when the frustration, the rage, the anger comes. You're not in a state of balanced emotional intelligence. What needs to be done is go into your stretch zone, because that's where you have the learning. Example of this, when someone goes to the gym for the very first time, gets a P, as in a personal trainer, this is what happens. They don't say to you, go and pick that 100 kg weight. They say, they build you up to it because they know you're going to get damaged. That means you're outside your comfort zone. They stretch you. They stretch you. And you see your comfort zone expands all of a sudden. Same if you're going into to learn how to get more flexible. The instructor won't say, go into the splits. They stretch you. They build you into it. So you need to go into the stretch zone and learn. Being outside the comfort zone is being in your war zone, in your panic zone. Rage, frustration, anger comes at that point. Take a step back, get into your stretch zone. Way better. You learn much more. Now, to end the session, one of the things which you really need to grasp in order to expand, amplify your executive presence is to know about this knife. It's a knife. What can we do with the knife? Cut things, vegetables, fruits. What was that? Okay, somebody said kill someone. I'm not going to throw it to anyone. Now, for example, you two gentlemen over there, if I was to give you this knife without the handle, only the blade, what will happen to you? It will cut you, it will damage you. But if I give you it with the handle, you're safe, you can hold it. You know, the likelihood of you getting hurt are less, far, far less, rather than just giving you the blade. So this is what logic is. Logic is like the blade. If you just use logic to do everything, you're going to cut through everything and it's going to bleed to death. But as soon as you put the emotions, they ground you. They help you see perspective. So it's the integration. If there's one thing about raising your executive presence, especially in sales, is to remember it's the integration of emotion and logic, just like a knife is. A question which you need to ask yourself while you're here and while you go home and when you go over the weekend is, what am I as an individual going to do to uplift, to amplify my executive presence? I gave you 6 things. Neuroscience, critical thinking, creativity and innovation, emotional intelligence, listening, presentation, speaking skills. Which one are you going to focus on? Which one are you going to say, okay, let me look at this and see how I can improve that? See the one which you really want to focus on and improve on that. Ask yourself that question, what do I want to focus on? Because once you start focusing on one thing, what starts happening is you start tapping into your JIGRA. Thank you very much for today. Have a wonderful evening. Take care.
See, I told you it was good. Wonderful. Round of applause once again, ladies and gents, Mr. Rohit Bassi.